Well, hello. Welcome to R&R, where bad media from the past needs a beating. But this time, I'm not doing a review. Instead, I'm doing a list of things. A lot of people have pointed out in my reviews that I wasn't getting things right, and the things I said were bullshit and stuff like that. But however, I oftentimes got facts wrong, and I just want to point that out. And so, I'm basically going to get ready for my top 5 screw ups. Number 5. A lot of you have basically been stressing out over my Galaxy Quest reviews on things I pointed out. I'm trying to paraphrase on the top of my head. You'd say stuff like, it looks like you have not even watched the series or whatnot, and what you're saying is bullshit because we have seen it. Well, to tell you the truth, the fact is that it's so bland that that it would just bore a lot of people. Just trying to watch it would try to bore a lot of people, whether they've seen the show or haven't seen the show. So as a result, it was just impossible to follow. It was impossible for me to follow. So when I was watching, I tried to skip ahead a bit to make as much sense as I can. Okay, number 4 has to do with the first part of my Magic Island review. Now, to be fair, this was my very, very, very first review on this show. In fact, the very first retrospective review episode ever. So I basically did stutter a lot, and because I was basically lost on what to do or how to style my reviews. People were like saying, it's a kids movie, they shouldn't be so critical, and stuff like that. Or it's magic. Well, magic doesn't work unless you explain it. Explain how it works. Well, I can give credit though, because it is a B movie, and B movies just throw a bunch of random shit at you, and even if it makes nonsensical, because the reasonable technology to go this far to make it at least a decent movie is not within their budget. And number 3 has to do with my top 5 stupidest Digimon moments back when I listed them all prior to my review. And according to many comments before I took it down, it said that grizzly bears do live in Japan.
Please, Dad, I already promised the others you would do it. Just think of it. Being out in the wilderness among all the snakes and the wolves and the grizzly bears, it'll be fun.
Okay, first off, Matt, guys live in Japan. There are no fucking grizzly bears there. Sorry. And there are no grizzly bears! Unless you plan on flying all the way to North America. Now, that would be such a ripoff. Well, I actually commented that, as you can see there, I basically commented that it didn't make any sense, because why would they want to be grizzly bears? Grizzly bears don't live in Japan, they live in North America. But however, I did do some research. There in fact is a species of brown bear that does in fact live in parts of Japan. It's basically a different subspecies. Okay, 2 is, according to my my ghost ship review, you can light fire underwater. You actually can light a fuse underwater. I actually bragged on about that that they are using a mending flare or whatever engineers use to seal up the leakage in the boat. But then I actually looked at, recently learned that in fact magnesium, the metal magnesium, can light fire underwater if it's lit. That heat or fire lighted on magnesium can continue to burn underwater. So, in actuality, that hull of the ship had to have been made of magnesium. Now, to tell you the truth, I was never good at chemistry, and I hated doing it in high school. Chemical equations bullshit. And this is probably why I didn't think about it. I easily forgot the periodic table, and I just forgot. And number one has to do with my Draken review on 3D Hells. And I've gone through a lot of this, basically saying that you don't appreciate the graphics associated with that time period. Well, this basically took it to an all new low. I can show you back to back on graphics from video games that came out the exact same year and Draken for the Super Nintendo. I mean, if you look at it, Draken's lifeless. I mean, it has no textures in the background and whatnot. It looks more like it's even by 16-bit standards. See, this is not the standard 16-bit 2D graphics. And to top it off, it uses first person, so it doesn't work. And that's all I have right now. Until next time I screw up. You happy now I got those explanations out to you? Well, good! And this is Marlon Amma, signing off.